Hello children. Today we will read Act 4 Scene 1. This is the famous trial scene and this is important from the examination point of view. This is the famous trial scene set in a Venetian court presided over by the Duke. Shylock refuses to forego his claim to a pound of Antonio's flesh. Portia, disguised as a doctor of law, with Nerissa dressed as her clerk, come to the court as Bellario's deputy. Portia makes a speech in praise of mercy, but Shylock is unmoved. She then pronounces that he is entitled to Antonio's pound of flesh, but the exact 1 pound, neither more nor less. But he is not entitled to shed any blood. Shylock is frustrated when Portia also declares that his own life and goods are forfeit. Ultimately, Shylock is allowed to depart with half his goods for his lifetime and the other half kept in a trust in condition that he becomes a Christian and bequeaths his possessions to Lorenzo and Jessica. Bassanio offers a reward. The young man or young lawyer, Portia asks for his ring. Scene 1. Venice, a court of justice. Enter the Duke, the merchants, Antonio, Bassanio, Graciano, Salerio, and others. And this is the famous court scene which takes place in Venice. And here, Shylock is waiting to cut a pound of flesh from the body of Antonio. And when the scene opens, enter the Duke, the merchants, Antonio, Bassanio, Graciano, Salerio, and others. Duke. What is Antonio here? Then Duke asks, well, is Antonio present here? Antonio, ready, so please your grace. Antonio says that he is ready, and so please your grace, this is an address to the Duke. Duke, I am sorry for thee. Thou art come to answer a stony adversary, an inhuman wretch, incapable of pity, void and empty from any dram of mercy. The Duke sympathizes Antonio. The Duke tried his best to persuade Shylock not to take the forfeiture or the bond, which is to take a pound of flesh from Antonio's body. So the Duke says to Antonio, I am sorry for thee. He sympathizes Antonio and says that he is very sorry he could not help Antonio. Thou art come to answer a stony adversary. Thou means you, art means are. You are come to answer a stony adversary. A stony adversary means a hard-hearted opponent, an inhuman wretch incapable of pity. And it is said that human beings, they have the kindness, pity, mercy in their heart. And what the animals do not have, that is the opposite of human, inhuman. And here he says, an inhuman wretch incapable of pity. The Duke says to Shylock as a stony adversary, a hard-hearted opponent, and he describes him as an inhuman wretch who is just like an animal, incapable of showing pity, mercy, or kindness, void and empty from any dram of mercy, and his heart is devoid of or empty of any dram of mercy. The dram is a very smallest quantity, and in his heart there is not even a small quantity of mercy. His heart is empty and devoid of mercy. Antonio, I have heard your grace hath taken great pains to qualify his rigorous course. But since he stands obdurate, and that no lawful means can carry me out of his envious reach, I do oppose my patience to his fury, and am armed to suffer with a quietness of spirit the very tyranny and rage of his. Antonio tells to the Duke that I have heard your Grace hath taken great pains to qualify his rigorous course. Your Grace, that is the address to the respectable address to the Duke. And Antonio says to the Duke that I have heard the Duke has taken great pains to moderate the strict court proceedings or the strict way of taking revenge on Antonio. But since he stands obdurate, he here refers to Shylock. Shylock stands quite adamant, and that no lawful means can carry me out of his envious reach. I do oppose my patience to his fury. And he says that though the Duke has tried his best to moderate, to qualify the strict course of Shylock to take his revenge, but since Shylock stands adamant and that no lawful means can carry Antonio out of his envious reach, no legal course can carry out or save Antonio from his envious reach. I do oppose my patience to his fury. Antonio says that I submit myself to his fury or to his anger and am armed to suffer with a quietness of spirit and am armed. He says that I am well equipped or I am prepared to suffer with a calmness of spirit, with a quietness of spirit, the very tyranny and rage of his. And he says that I have prepared myself to suffer, to face the tyranny, the anger. Rage means anger, tyranny, the torture of Shylock, Duke. Go on and call the Jew into the court. Shylock is not present in the court. Therefore, the Duke sends someone. He says that go and call Shylock into the court. Salerio. He is ready at the door. He comes, my lord. Then Salerio says that he is ready. Shylock is ready at the door and he comes to the court. Enter Shylock. Duke. Make room and let him stand before our face. Make room means give some space to Shylock and let him stand before our face. The Duke wants that Shylock should stand in front of him. Then he addresses to Shylock, Shylock, the world thinks, and I think so too, that thou but leadest this fashion of thy malice to the last hour of act, and then it is thought thou wilt show thy mercy and remorse more strange than is thy strange apparent cruelty. Duke addresses to Shylock saying that the world thinks and I think so too. The world thinks means all the people think as well as I think so that thou but leadest this fashion of thy malice. The world thinks as well as the Duke thinks that Shylock has followed or continued his show of mercy, fashion of thy malice means his show of cruelty to the last hour of act, to the last minute of the action. He had signed such a cruel bond, and till the last moment he has shown that cruelty and is demanding a pound of flesh just near the heart of Antonio. So the Duke says that you have followed this strict course of cruelty till the last hour of action, and then it is thought thou wilt show thy mercy and remorse more strange. So, taking a pound of flesh from the body of a man just near his heart is a strange type of cruelty. And Shylock had shown that strange cruelty till this moment, till the last moment he is in the court to exact it from Antonio's body. Therefore, the Duke says that you have shown such strange cruelty till the last moment, and it is thought by the people as well as by the Duke that he will show his mercy and remorse, his kindness and his repentance more strange than is thy strange apparent cruelty. He will show his mercy as well as his remorse and his repentance, his pity, the which will be more strange than his cruelty. Then is thy strange apparent cruelty. His strange apparent cruelty, that is taking a pound of flesh from Antonio's body. And where thou now exactest the penalty. And that strange cruelty is that he is going to exact, he is going to claim or take out a pound of flesh in the form of penalty, which is a pound of this poor merchant's flesh. The king, the duke says that is that penalty, the strange penalty is a pound of Antonio's flesh. Thou wilt not only lose the forfeiture, but touched with human gentleness and love, forgive a moiety of the principal. The Duke says that you will not only lose the forfeiture, he says that you will not only refuse the bond, but touched with human gentleness and love, being touched with human kindness and love. Forgive a moiety of the principal. You will forgive a moiety of the principal, means a portion of the principal sum or the original sum. The original sum is 3000 ducats that Antonio borrowed from Shylock, and he is unable to pay it. Therefore, Shylock is going to exact the penalty. So, the Duke says that not only you will cancel the bond, refuse the bond, but also having pity on Antonius, you will show love and gentleness to him and forgive a portion or half of the principal sum, original sum, 3000 ducats, glancing an eye of pity on his losses. So, why should he show his gentleness and love on Antonio? Because keeping in view of pity on his losses, and we know very well that Antonio suffered loss after loss. No, none of his ships returned safely to the harbor, and he was unable to pay a very insignificant amount for a royal merchant like Antonio, 3000 ducats to Shylock. Therefore, Shylock has dragged him to the court, and now he is claiming a pound of flesh. So the Duke says that keeping an eye on of pity on his losses, that have of late so huddled on his back. Since a long time, of late means since a long time, he has been pressed upon due to his losses, enough to press a royal merchant down, and those losses are quite enough, quite great to press a royal merchant down, to ruin a royal merchant down, and pluck commiseration of his state from brassy bosoms and rough hearts of flints. And he says that this loss is enough for a royal merchant to down him, to ruin him. And this condition or this present state can pluck commiseration. Pluck commiseration means draw pity, draw sympathy from brassy bosoms and rough hearts of flints. From the brassy bosoms, brass is a hard metal, and the persons whose breasts are as hard as brass, and rough hearts of flints, and whose hearts are as hard as flint. Flint is a hard stone, and the Duke says that the persons whose breasts are just like a brass and whose hearts are rough like a flints or hard stone flints, even from stubborn Taurs and Tatars, never trained to offices of tender courtesy. And also gives another example that from stubborn Taurs and Tatars, stubborn means the uncultured, Taurs and Tatars, these are the certain Asiatic races which the Elizabethans believed to be uncivilized. And Shakespeare gives these examples that even these Taurs and Tatars who are never trained to offices of tender courtesy, means who have never accustomed to the human kindness. They will also show pity on seeing the present condition of Antonio. Even these uncivilized, uncultured people like Turks and Tatars can show their kindness, show their sympathy towards Antonio at his present condition. Therefore, the Duke requests Shylock that we hope you will show a strange type of mercy and love towards Antonio. We all expect a gentle answer, Jew. And at last he said to Shylock that we all expect a gentle answer from you, Shylock. I have possessed your grace of what I purpose. Then Shylock says that I have already informed your grace about my intention, what I intend to do. And by our holy Sabbath have I sworn to have the due and forfeit of my bond. And he says that already I have informed you about my motive, about my intention. And also I have taken a vow, a promise or an oath on our holy Sabbath. Holy Sabbath, that is the Saturday of the week, that is a holy day for the Jew. And he says that I have taken an oath on holy Sabbath to have the due and forfeit of my bond. And he says that I want to have the due, I want to have the penalty according to the terms of the bond, what is due to give to the Jew. And the forfeit of my bond, the bond is already forfeited, already expired. So he says that I have taken an oath that I will not have the money, but I will take the bond. If you deny, let it the if you deny it, let the danger light upon your charter and your city's freedom. And Venice got freedom according to a charter. And here he says that suppose you deny me this justice, then danger will fall upon your city, and your city's freedom will be at danger or will be at stake. You will ask me why I rather choose to have a weight of carrion flesh than to receive 3,000 ducats. I will not answer that. Again, he says that you will ask me why I prefer to have a pound of rotten flesh rather than taking 3,000 ducats in return. I will not answer that. He is so adamant. He says that he will ask me why I prefer to take the rotten human flesh, a pound of rotten human flesh, rather than receiving the 3,000 ducats. I will not answer you, but say it is my humor. And he says that I will say you that it is my whim, it is my wish that I want to have a pound of flesh rather than 3,000 ducats. Is it answered? He asks to the Duke that have you got your answer? What if my house be troubled with a rat, and be pleased to give 10,000 ducats to have it banned? Again, he says that if my house is troubled by a rat, if his house is disturbed by a rat, and he will spend 10,000 ducats to poison the rat, it does not matter to anybody else. It is his own wish to kill a rat. He will spend 10,000 ducats. What? Are you answered yet? And again he says that did you get your answer to that? Some men there are love and love not a gaping pig. Some that are mad if they behold a cat, and others when the bagpipe sings in the notes cannot contain themselves. Then he gives more examples, and he says that there are some people who do not love a gaping pig. Gaping pig means the roasted pig's head. And there are some people those who do not like the cat. If they see a cat they get irritated. And others, when the bagpipe sings in the nose, and there are some people, those who cannot tolerate the shrill noise of a bagpipe. A bagpipe is a musical instrument which does not produce nice music, and some people do not like it. So he says that, and others, when the bagpipe sings in the nose, cannot contain themselves, they cannot tolerate it, they do not like it, they dislike it, hate it. For affection, master of passion, sways it to the mood of what it likes or loathes. Then he says that this is the, for affection means this is the personal inclination, and the master of passion, it is their emotion which directs them or sways it to the mood of what it likes or loathes. So it directs to their mood what they will like or what they will hate. Loathes means hates or dislikes. So it depends on the personal inclination of a man whether he will like it or not. Now for your answer, as there is no firm reason to be rendered why he cannot abide a gaping pig, why he a harmless necessary cat, why he a woolen bagpipe, but of force must yield to such inevitable shame as to offend himself being offended. And he says that now for your answer, he says to the duke that to give you the answer, I say you, as there is no firm reason, there is no strict or any specific reason to be rendered, to be given, why he cannot abide a gaping pig, why a person cannot tolerate a gaping pig or roasted head of a pig whose mouth remains open, that is the gaping pig. Why he a harmless necessary cat? Why a person who hates a domestic harmless cat? Why he a woolen bagpipe, and why another person does not like a woolen bagpipe, but of force must yield to such inevitable sin, but they are compelled to yield themselves to such inevitable, unavoidable shame as to offend. They are compelled to these unavoidable shames or insults to offend himself being offended, as they are sometimes offended, criticized for this type of mood. Being offended, they are compelled to offend others. So can I give no reason, nor I will not, more than a lodged hate and a certain loathing I bear Antonio, that I follow thus, a losing shot against him. Are you answered? And here he says that as these people cannot give any specific reason why they do not like such things, and sometimes they have to submit themselves, yield themselves to certain insults, and when they are insulted, they also insult others. So, like this, Shylock says that so can I give no reason, nor I will not. And he says that as he is being offended, he also wants to offend others, and he cannot give any specific reason for this more than a lodged hate. And he says that only I have a reason, that is a deep rooted hate or hatred, a certain loathing, a certain disliking I bear Antonio. He has some deep rooted hatred and certain disliking towards Antonio, that I follow thus a losing shot against him. And he wants to follow a losing shot. Losing shot means here Antonio has lost the agreement, he could not pay back the money in time, and now Shylock takes this losing suit against Antonio for his hatred, for his dislike towards Antonio. And he, Shylock asks the Duke, are you answered? So today this much, again next time we will do.